You're anti-Devo or not pro-Devo. You're on the wrong podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, this right here is Noah. He's senior hogball analyst.
And that is Walt Kelly, senior hogball aficionado.
And this is Hogball.
The 2024 college basketball season is finally underway, and apparently nobody told the boosters. A sold-out student section and a moderately filled lower bowl bore witness to a Monday night massacre at the Palace. A wire-to-wire victory began with Trevin Brazil's thunderous dunk on the first possession, and just because it had been so long, he said, you know what? Here go two more for y'all. Devo Las Vegas hit the jackpot with 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Hogs hit more threes than they did in any game last year, but kept the high-flying alley-oops and transition offense we've become accustomed to. Jalen Graham is healthy and snagged a team-high 8 boards in 14 minutes. The bench was emptied, and TB got ejected, and nobody knew about it. And the end of the game kind of dragged on with a bunch of cheap fouls, and it was like, yeah, let's get on with this.
And Pinion hit that prop bet.
Yeah, that was huge. That was the most exciting part of the game. But most importantly, after a run from the Braves of Alcorn State made things interesting, our Piggies finished the game with a score of 93-59. Good teams win, great teams cover.
It was nice to see them steal that victory. Things were a little...
Well, they sealed the cover, too. So, yeah.
Wasn't even... Yeah, I was too locked in on that Pinion bet.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, one of the things we learned in this Razorback opening game 1, as much as we wanted that Purdue game to count, it just counted for expectations and getting people excited about Hogball. We learned that everything we said in that first Hogball was right.
Yeah.
These Hogs are damn good, y'all.
Yeah.
They're real good.
And, I mean, I think, I put it in my little intro, but I think the big thing is, like, 12 three-pointers made is more than we made in any game last year. We only had one game last year even making double-digit three-pointers. We made 11 in, I think, the Georgia game last year.
Gosh, I've got a few things to say about that. One thing I want to say, those 12 that Noah's talking about there, that's with Davenport going 1 of 6. Yeah. And y'all, he's probably our sharpshooter on this team. That shows you what kind of depth we've got to shoot the threes. I did not know that stat, that was more than we made all last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt it. And y'all, I think we're going to hit that number again and again and again.
Got to shout out Blake Lovell, Southeastern 14. He pulled that stat out.
Nice. We're fans of the SEC 14. Those guys are all right, and they know the Arkansas fans are the best fans there are. Mm-hmm. So they talk a lot about the Hogs, and I think because they do it, they become Hog fans. Who doesn't if you watch this team? You got to love the Razorbacks. The other thing I was going to say about that stat that's been nice to watch Musselman coach is that every year you see him go get the things that he's learned from that he didn't have.
Yeah.
And he's just making himself a little better and a little better, which is one of those things that makes me believe he's put together the pieces for a team that can go all the way this year.
I really think so. You really look at it, and all the pieces fit together so well. And I guess your one spot that we don't know yet is the 5 spot. Because you can play Brazil as the 5, but you want to play him as a 3 or a 4. And then you've got Mitchell, Chandler, Lawson. I guess Bayfall is kind of in there. Jalen Graham are pretty much vying for that last spot.
That's one of the things I kind of learned from you, senior hogball analyst Noah, is that how necessary it is it that we have that 5. I mean, think about it. At the end of the game, who do you want out there? I think Trevin's going to be your...
Well, yeah, I don't
3 through 5.
I don't hate a lineup where we have 4 guards out there with Brazil. I really don't hate that.
And I think you want at the end of the
game. I think especially if we have a lead and we're going to be shooting free throws, I think that is our best lineup because you can't trust Jalen Graham on the free throw line. Mitchell was about 60% last
And we
year,
love
I
you,
wanna
Jalen.
say.
We love you.
We love
Shoot
you
some
guys.
free throws, and
But
you're
and
in there.
you
We love you.
They know better than we do that they need to improve their free throw shooting. And I think Lawson is a good free throw shooter. I think he was perfect in the Purdue game.
And that's one
He
thing
was
I
2
do
for
want
2
to
in
say
this
about
game.
that game too, that Chandler did not get a lot of playing time in that game.
Or Mitchell.
And I don't want Razorback fans to think that means that he's not in the mix. I very much see Chandler Lawson with a high probability of being a starter on this team. Y'all, a lot of people talked about Jordan Walsh and his long arms and the things he could do on defense. Chandler Lawson is more of a freak of nature than Jordan Walsh is, in a good way. Chandler Lawson has a wingspan of 7'7" on that body. He can get those rebounds. He can block those shots. He's a basketball player, like he said, and like Coach Buss said. And I think that Lawson's going to be a part of what's going on with this team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we should move. I really wanted to talk about Caleb Battle because he's coming off the bench right now. And I mean, a lot of people are saying like it's only a matter of time before he starts. And I think if he did start, I think he'd take Ellis's spot. I think Devo, Tremont Mark, and Brazil are solidified in their roles as starters.
I agree.
But I still like Ellis out there because you've seen Coach Musselman. I mean, if something's not working, he'll make a sub less than a minute into a game if he wants to. And we know that Battle will be there at the end of games because of his free throw shooting ability and because of his just straight up bucket getting
automatic from that free throw line.
Yeah. So I don't hate him coming off the bench as just because Ellis. It seems like Muss really likes him running the offense. And I actually like what I've seen from him so far, even though I don't think he's played all that well.
I'm glad you're talking about both of those guys with the emphasis being on Battle starting. Sure, Caleb Battle could start for this team. I don't think it affects how many minutes he's going to get, whether he starts or he doesn't. I have a feeling his role on this Coach Buss team is to come off the bench if he's a starter.
Just like J.D. Note on the team with Moses Moody.
Great example there. But I think his spot's coming off the bench. I think he can be one of the team leaders in minutes. He's obviously, remember a lot of people say, it's not as much who you want starting the game as who you want finishing the game.
Yeah.
And I think Caleb Battle is a part of that situation. I think he can very well lead the team in scoring. I think it's going to be a Brazil or a Battle leading this team in scoring.
Yeah.
And Battle is so fun to watch.
I didn't realize he can pull up from anywhere. And I mean, his layup package is very good.
And he's not one of those players, he can create that shot, get it off in a hurry, but you never go like, oh, why did he shoot that shot? And then it goes in, you feel better. No, he's creating a great shot.
Yeah.
And he is a great shot. He makes you feel good with the ball. I love his spirit, his love of the game. He's out there and he's feeding off the crowd. I love everything about Battle. I love his post-game interview, sitting down with the press. I'm so glad Caleb Battle's on this team.
I know. I really love him. All right. I think the next topic of discussion, I think this is the biggest real question mark on this team is, like we were talking about earlier, but what are we going to do with our big guys? Because is it really going to be just Mitchell and Lawson and everybody else falls out of the equation?
Which is something we might have thought after the Purdue game, but Jalen Graham was on the bench with back spasms, and he made a point to make a statement in that first game.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me because I don't see a world where any two of Graham, Mitchell, and Lawson, they aren't really going to share the floor together very much, if at all. So you're really splitting up those minutes at the 5 spot primarily between those three, and they won't be sharing the floor much. and you might even give Brazil a lot at some time at the 5. So
I think what might be going on here is these are great questions to have, but what we're probably going to see is Coach Muss doing what Coach Muss does. Like we didn't see much of Mitchell or Lawson in that game, but we saw a lot of Graham, which, by the way, did you notice, Noah, what kind of defense Jalen Graham's been playing?
Yeah, and
he was
rebounding.
really playing defense and getting rebounding. And Coach would be saying something. He could not say a thing about Jalen Graham last year without bringing up he needs to work on his defense. And
his rebounding.
Evidently, in the practices, all the players are talking about what kind of D he plays. He wants to make sure he's a part of that. I think what you might see, we did not see any of Trey Wade much at all before he came in that NCAA game and took over the game against Gonzaga. You know, these players keep roles going. He goes with what's working. You might have something where Mitchell's better for this, or, you know, you're Lawson is somebody you go consistently with. Hey, we need some offense out there. Let's get Jalen. I don't see any of those 3 guys getting pushed out. I see them all a part of this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one guy that is like Bay Fall, where he's really, it's like now or never for him to prove his worth, because these games are going to be heating up quite a bit, and the rotation's going to shorten quite a bit pretty soon. And I liked what I saw from Bay Fall. I love how fast he is.
And you can see the potential out there.
And
gosh.
Yeah. But I mean, he went. Team. Yeah, he what was he from the free throw line?
It wasn't pretty.
2 of 6 from the free throw line. Like that doesn't look great. And it's just one game, and it was his first game. It was his first game because he didn't play in the Purdue game.
I think talking about Bay Fall is a good opportunity to talk about both of our freshmen, because with Bay Fall, I think Noah is exactly right. It's with these games that are going on right now, this next game against Gardner-Webb, last game against Alcorn State, the minutes that Bay Fall has in these games, he's fighting for some playing time. He's fighting for a spot in that rotation. Otherwise, I think Coach is going to do what he can to give him some minutes. Next year, he could be all SEC center for the Razorbacks.
Totally.
And that still can happen this year.
You can see the athleticism and
getting better.
Yeah,
but
it's just Muss demands a lot out of his bigs on defense, especially. Like Jalen Williams, with the way he played drop coverage and how intelligent he was, like just defending ball screens and everything. It's just like
it took
coming straight out of high school. Yeah, and like we played the best big man in the country against Purdue, and Bay Fall did not get any minutes there, but somebody who did was Chandler Lawson, and him. That's when that 7'7" wingspan mattered. I think he gave Edie fits. He really did. And it wasn't just him. It was as a team.
Right.
He was being physical with him.
He could play that role.
He was doing a lot to just make sure that he was not
Tennessee's
catching
a real
the
physical
ball
team
easily.
and has some real big guys. We saw Auburn play against Baylor the other night. They're really physical, have some real big men out there playing. Chandler Lawson can do some of that, you know. Dinjay's going to be fighting for some minutes there with Bay Fall to get in there for those spots. But I think as far as the big guys go, I think those 3 guys that you mentioned, TB, Mitchell, and Lawson are the guys that are likely to get the minutes. But these are things we're going to be learning, and that's what these opponents are for now.
And obviously, just saying that we have all these options in case one guy goes down at some point.
Right.
Or whatever, it's so good to have these options, and it's a luxury that we did not have last year.
It's you mentioned it before we pressed record today, talking about that problem that we have, that a lot of these guys that are going to be sitting on our bench are not sitting on the bench at other SEC schools.
Yeah.
It's the first time I can remember that are since some of
Yeah,
those NOLA teams.
I think Bay Fall, if he's on most SEC team, if he's on Missouri right now,
they're partying in Columbia.
He's playing big minutes. He's getting so.
And I'm excited about his future.
Him coming, and we hope. Like, I just hope that he doesn't get discouraged and then maybe want to transfer out, because we know the big things that we see from him. But this is just it's a winning basketball program, and there are guys ahead of him right now, and so he's got to prove himself before I think he gets 5 minutes.
Can we segue to the other freshman on this one?
Yes,
and
please.
Sneak him in?
Yes.
Because I'll tell you what,
now,
there's a lot of coaches around the country right now hoping that Layden Blocker doesn't get a lot of playing time here.
Yeah.
And they're hoping they can get him on their team. Basically, what Coach Muzz has to do right now, and if you've watched him, boy, he's fun to watch. And he's playing defense first. He knows what it takes. He's fighting for some minutes on that team because our backcourt is loaded. But I think there's a spot for Layden Blocker there. There's a role for him. And Coach Muzz is going to make sure that he gets some minutes every game.
Yeah.
Because next year, you're looking at your starting point guard, very likely, right there, Layden Blocker.
Yeah, totally.
And that's exciting.
He fouled out in 10 minutes in this game.
Love it.
That doesn't bother me whatsoever, really. I mean, I love the way he plays defense, and he's just such an in-your-face, like, dog mentality type defender.
Love it. Yeah, he looks like he should be playing for Coach Prime.
His quickness is, better than anybody I've seen at Arkansas, I think, in a long time. He reminds me of his quickness, just Davion Mitchell, who when he was on that Baylor team, and you remember his first step just beat us to the hole about 20 times in that NCAA tournament game. He's that type of guy, and he's physical, and he's just a dog out there, man.
If we had this same team when Devo was a freshman but didn't have Devo, I think Layden Blocker would be Devo.
Yeah.
And he reminds me a lot of Devo.
I think
and he's learning from Devo right now.
I think Blocker's ceiling is higher than Devo's, to be
I agree with that, but let's clear this up. Devo, Las Vegas here. I love the Razorbacks, and when I'm going down my YouTube, if I see somebody talking about the Hogs, I don't care if it's the team we played 2 weeks ago or playing 2 weeks from now, or it's our regular Razorback family. I love them all almost. What I don't love is people hating on Devo. And there are some guys pretending to know something about the Hogs and talk about Razorback basketball, talking some mess that the 5 people you want on the floor at the end of the game, that Devo's not one of them. I don't have time for that, and I'm not going to tolerate it. And I thumbs down that and turn it off. So if you're here for the Devo hate, you're at the wrong place. That's those other guys.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous notion that I don't think needs. I'm glad you brought it up, but it'll get me too worked up because Devo's going to be out there when it matters, and we want him out there when it matters.
Those guys
always
got their views and got their counts up whenever Devo had some personal things going on, and he was off the team for a couple of games last year and came back. Those guys were celebrating that, and they loved it, and they're like, they thought he was a liability after that. Well, Devo showed Razorback Nation what he meant to this team, just like he did as a freshman when he took that shot against Oral Roberts. When it mattered, Devo is the heart and soul of this team. He had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in that last game.
And this is I want to say about Devo in this game. He hasn't scored much, and I think
that's great.
That's not what we want him to do on this team. It's so good. It's so good because he can just sit back, facilitate, get rebounds, do what he needs to do what Devo does, which is just that in the mud type of guy, that glue guy. He's the glue guy, you know? Like,
You
he
better
does
believe-
whatever you need, whatever the team needs. And yeah, he can be a scorer if you need him to, but we don't need him to be that scorer. And this is going to allow him to excel so many other places.
He's going to be that scorer when we need him to. If they are just clamping down on Mark and Battle, and they've got two guys on TB, and Devo gets open shots, he's going to take the shot and he's going to make it.
Knock it down.
He's going to knock it down, just like he did in that game against the Braves. Well, I appreciate those guys coming to Fayetteville. And
yeah, I met a couple of them at
Let that
over
happen.
at the Whole Foods, and they seemed like nice, very respectful guys. They respected our team, and I told them I respected their team, and it was all respect goes to the Alcorn State Braves.
we've got a couple, three more of them.
Something tells me they'll probably maybe be making the NCAA tournament with a conference championship.
They're in the SWAC, and those guys will be competing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody needs these games to figure out their lineups, and we're going to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and they made a lot of money playing that game. Too,
They
so.
did. I think what Noah was saying in that little read off start me up there for the show was so important. Y'all go out and watch the Hogs. They're putting a show on for you.
Well, and directly to the university, I'd say let more students into these games.
For the love of
bring,
God.
They bring the energy. Our student section is so good, and then you see, and it's the smallest portion. I think it's the smallest student section I've seen in the SEC for sure, and pretty much
it looks
anywhere
small
else
because you've got a 20,000 seat arena, but it's we
it's
got to get
ridiculous.
more.
If
in
you're
there.
not, if you're, especially if you're not filling the lower bowl like that, expand the student section. Let them in there.
Something's got to be done. Hunter, are you listening?
No,
Let's do something about it.
He's probably not, but if he is, come on. I know you, the boosters bring in a lot of money, but
Coach Bus supports this idea.
I know he does. He wants all students at the game.
He mentioned before the tip off the other night to Chuck
Because the students were there. The students were there an hour before, and I was in the arena that night. I was with your son. We were watching the game, and we were up in the upper bowl, and we got down almost courtside, just down in the second half because nobody was there. I mean, I was kind of.
And you gotta wonder what they're going to do on a Friday night.
Yeah,
not good to see, but things will get excited for them soon.
Yeah,
because
obviously we're going to sell out in SEC play and whatnot, but
Duke's coming in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Good Lord!
Hey, get your tickets now. They're only about $325. So.
Hey, gosh, my son would love to see what a great atmosphere is and see Duke, Arkansas. If anybody wants to give a couple of tickets for that game, we'll gladly take them. And you'll make a 12-year-old whose birthday is November 20th. It'll work out just right. Just keep that in mind. Go Hogs. We're going to beat Duke.
Shameless plug. I mean, might as well.
Hey, we're going to see what we can get here.
Okay. Do you want to maybe move forward to our best bets of
Yeah.
of the
You've heard
next
us
game?
mention, Noah and I like to, we put about $10 a month in the little playing gambling sites. And, this is a Razorback show. But we're going to go ahead and talk because it's a part of the game. We talked about how there at the end of the game, Pinion saved the day with a three-pointer.
Yeah, the props kind of got to us there with
We
Bet
wanted
Saracen.
I think I played every single one of them. I'm like, oh, Mackay, 15 points. Yeah! You Pinion, three-pointers. Woohoo! I love them all. But they have already come out with their little prop bets for tomorrow at Saracen. This is an online site where you can play the game, and it's in-state. And I've enjoyed it. As far as withdrawing your money and getting paid, it's within 24
Oh yeah, for
hours.
real. Like they aren't
24 hours.
They aren't sponsoring us. I wish they were.
Not yet.
But yeah, not yet. But seriously, fantastic in terms of the withdrawals. It's better than the FanDuel and DraftKings that I played. I mean, it's very good. But okay, I'm gonna give you two of these in-game props that I like.
And then I can give two, but I like a bunch of them. But yeah,
I would say probably
he'll probably take one of mine, but I have a feeling I know which way he's going to go, which I like the one on the
okay,
way
I know
think
what
he's
I
going
have.
to go. What you got?
So at plus 325, it's got Razorbacks over 51.5 field goal percentage and over 11.5 3-pointers made. So that's us hitting 12 threes again and shooting 52% from the
And
field.
what was that? Plus 375?
325. I love it.
I like it. I think we're going to do it
I
again
mean,
because
you got-
Davenport's going to get 4.
Davenport will be there. I think Pinion missed one. I mean, Mark went 4 of 6. He probably won't do that
That's
again.
one of the things I wanted to say. When you told me that we had that record for 3-pointers, not only did Davenport go 1 of 6, but Pinion only made 1. And we know what kind of shooter he is.
Yeah. One thing I want to say about all that is just it is so good to see this offense. We shot more 3-pointers than 2-pointers in that game.
If I would have been told that, I would have said, no way, you've lost your hogball mind, senior analyst Noah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I want to see that in every game, and a lot of that was because we got fouled so many times on our 2-point attempts, whatnot.
We are going to be a coach's nightmare trying to defend this team.
But really, and it's like when you have the guys like Davenport, who isn't going to play probably a whole lot of minutes, but say teams are clogging up the paint, not letting us get to the hole, we can throw Davenport out there, and now we've got 3-4 guys on the floor that can knock down a 3. They have to space the defense, or else we're just going to knock it down.
Yeah, I think Davenport's one of those players who is in the rotation. I think he's one of the first players coming off the bench. I think he's got it. I've heard some other guys talk about he's fighting for a spot. I think he's got his spot. Regardless,
he's 6'7",
it's exciting.
Can defend, is athletic, and
he had a bunch of assists and he had a whole bunch of rebounds in that game.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time believing that come the end of come SEC play that Davenport doesn't play in every game at least some point.
I bet when we're on next week's Hog Ball, we're gonna be talking a lot about what Davenport did. Expect it, see it. Davenport's I think he's gonna be a highlight reel for sure.
So my other play,
I like that one that you just said.
My other play is gonna be Mekhi Mitchell, because I think Muss kind of just basically said, I need to get a look at Graham and Bayfall. I know what you're going to give me.
That might be the philosophy of what's going on.
He knows what he's going to get from Mekhi Mitchell because he saw it all of last year in his averaging 20 minutes a game last year.
And now you think he owes Mekhi some loyalty miles there?
Yeah, I think, probably, or something. But over 3.5 points, I think if he plays 10 minutes, he'll get that. And he'll probably get a block as well, and that's plus 350.
Because these guys trying to win a spot, they know they're going to get it by making that good assist.
And this will also, I think, Muss kind of sitting him down a little bit. I don't know what Muss told him or anything, but that will definitely make Mekhi very hungry to perform well in this game. So.
Yeah. I think we both agree that Mekhi Mitchell is a part of this team's.
Yeah, I don't see how he's not. Just from what I saw from him last year.
He knows what coach wants.
Above average rim protection. He can defend multiple positions.
He's an active big. He is big. And
He's
he
physical.
knows Coach must Razorback basketball.
Yeah. He does get a little bit foul happy sometimes.
Which is why we're happy that we do have Bayfall
and Graham and Chandler Lawson. But
it's good to see Graham a part of everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, my plays.
I'm glad he stuck around. Well, I guess he would have had to sit out a year if he left. So
Now, if you have a gambling problem, call a helpline and get some help. These plays that I'm about to give are so tasty, it might turn you into a gambler if you're not. But they get me excited. I'm going for value here. www.www.com. Walt's Weekly Winners. All right, here's what we got. First of all, there's a lot of, I think they all look so good. I like the Trevin play at plus 275. That's a lot of points, a lot of rebounds, and, he might get ejected again or something. I'm going to go for value, and we talked about Leighton Blocker here. We got over 1.5 points and over 1.5 assists.
I like it. I like it, especially because I think Blocker will get some solid minutes in definitely the second half.
And this is plus 350.
Yeah, I think the value on that is very good, and we'll be putting him at point guard. I think Muss said he's going to be playing Tremont Mark a little bit at the point guard. He's going to try that out because he didn't do that last game. I love the Leighton Blocker play, because I think that guy's got something to prove. Where
he's out there fighting for a job.
We have 4 terrific guards in front of him.
Terrific.
Like unbelievably good guards in front of him.
He's going to be in there making passes to them.
But that's just, I feel like he's the type of guy that's just going to take that as a challenge and be like, I'm going to prove that I need to be in the lineup.
So then the other play. Now that's, by the way, plus 350. Yeah. If you do gamble, that's terrific. $10 pays you 45 getting your 10 back. 35 just money made.
Yeah.
So the other play is the biggest odds on the board. Chandler Lawson over 5.5 points and over 3.5 rebounds. Didn't get a lot of playing time in the last game. I think he's going to get some here. I think he can get those points. I think he can get those rebounds. Do I think it's likely he's going to get those points? We'll see. But at plus 600...
it's the value play.
Guys, Walt's Weekly Winners. Put 10 on that one and put 10 on the other one.
Can't lose. You almost can't lose.
You're going to make some money. You can buy my son a new pair of Nikes with it. Oh, no, I've already pushed for the tickets. My bad. But these Walt's Weekly Winners are for free. Just letting you know. They also have the second long shot of the day is Tremont Mark over 13.5 points and over 3.5 assists. You were saying he's going to play some point guard, and he can score. That's a long shot.
He's surprised me a lot with his scoring ability. I want to play them all.
Oh, and by the way, when you were talking about L. Ellis earlier, I wanted to say he's a part of what this team's doing. I think Buzz has him as our primary point guard on the team. He's going to be what makes this team go. He's going to be the one who gets the quickest sit on that bench when he messes up. But he's a part of what's going on with this team.
I'd say Devo is the straw that stirs the drink.
Yep.
But L. Ellis might be like the hand that holds the straw that stirs the drink or something.
Yeah, or if you have like can
openers
or electric can openers. If you had an electric straw stirrer, he would be the batteries that make the engine go.
Okay, yeah.
I hope you got what I'm trying to say there.
Quality metaphors, and you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that only
on Hog Ball.
Okay,
that's
these
right.
Quality metaphors.
Anyway, guys, boy, those prop bets are fun to look at. I'd love for them to let me parlay those two together. That plus 600 and that plus 350.
Boom!
I'll tell you what. Booyah! We are at every Hog game. We are sitting behind the bench. We are calling the Hogs right over there with the student section. It's a different day. We will have a better studio. We'll have better equipment for you to watch your Hog Ball episodes. But they won't let me do that yet. I'm trying to find a way. But
if only.
Those are some exciting plays. You got a prop bet for every player on the team there you can make. And I'm not trying to promote gambling by any means. But if you want to have fun, hey, if you put $5 on that Chandler Lawson play, a winner pays you $30.
I think even more than that.
Plus 600.
I thought it was plus 650.
If it's plus 650, woo!
Big time.
Big I can't even do the math.
Mm-hmm. All right, but honestly, my favorite play of the day might be just Arkansas minus 22.5.
Wow. That's the thing with this team that we've got with all those guys.
But
they're good basketball players. I know that the opponent that we're playing won their basketball game this week. They're 1-0.
They won by a lot, too.
One of these teams will not be leaving the gym tomorrow undefeated.
Scary thought.
Think it's going to be. I'm just excited to watch more Razorback basketball. Mm-hmm. Then we have another opponent. And then it starts to get a little bit more serious. You'll start to see our players that are going to start, and the minutes come when we get Greensboro coming in, North Carolina, Greensboro, and then the teams. I think we got Old Dominion on our schedule this year,
mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, boom, you're in the Bahamas.
Yep.
And we start out with Stanford there, and then we play the winner of Memphis, Michigan. Boy, that sounds exciting. North Carolina's way up there on the other side of the bracket.
Storied programs there. I mean, it's going to be big clout.
And then when we get back from the Bahamas, we're bringing Duke into the bud.
I haven't seen any odds on it, but I would think that we would be the betting favorites to win that tournament.
And unless you're that jerk from CBS.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This guy doesn't think we're in the tournament. How dare him? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, he's just stupid.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Not that we have anything against stupid people. We just love the Hogs.
Yeah.
And when your stupidity affects the Hogs, we don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I think that's just about it. I think we've covered everything.
Boy, I love talking about the Razorbacks with you, Noah.
Yeah. I hope you guys like it too.
I hope you do, because if you do, you're going to get to see us again next week. Until then.
That's been Walt.
That's been Noah.
Signing off. Hogball. Go Hogs.
See you next week. Go Hogs! Good one.